Before we begin this episode, a quick message to the CHC audience.
We would like to invite you to check out another podcast that we enjoy.
Hi, I'm Keegan.
And I'm Cassie.
And I'm Christina.
Have you ever had a guy you're dating try and pick up your brother?
Have you ever been on a date where a guy showed up wearing the exact same outfit as you?
Have you ever been on a date where the guy sniffs you as a greeting?
If so, this just might be the podcast for you. Tune in to My Worst Date.
Because let's face it, misery loves company.
Let you in on an aspect of the world that you're not normally accustomed to.
I could have been a totally different person.
Yeah, right now.
Since 12 hours ago.
Could have been wearing a business suit today. Who knows?
With a fanny pack.
With a fanny pack. Just classing up the joint.
That's a fantastic idea.
It's the only kind of ideas I have, sir.
It's Corner House Chronicles Day.
It's just different enough.
And here's the kicker, boss. They're all the same personality.
They're assholes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just 1.5 million asshole penguins.
Best part.
I'm going to try and pace it out, so just as you forget about me, I'll just pop in and remind you.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Corner House Chronicles. I'm John.
I'm Jason.
This is episode 73.
Ooh, getting up there.
We told you folks they're coming quick.
Rapid fire.
We got the time, scheduling,
The technology.
to bring you the content.
So we figure, why not?
Why not? We're
Let's
here.
give you the content. That's what you're here for anyway.
Right. Maybe a few laughs if we're lucky. First up on the docket for tonight's content is our beer of the week.
It's pretty tasty.
Nice selection, sir.
Thank you.
You scored.
It's a nice...
It's smooth.
it is very smooth. It's
I'm
light.
surprised how much I'm enjoying it.
There's a good flavor.
Yep.
And it's not an IPA.
No, but
that was one of the biggest selling features. Again, the design. I always keep my eyes out for that.
Absolutely. I'm going to go ahead and tell you one of those from the shelf are coming down.
I agree. It's a beauty.
Mm-hmm.
It's very simplistic.
Yep. Reminds me of our grandpa. Like you.
Oh, it
you know,
really?
like him sitting out in
yeah.
the boat fishing.
Shit.
Yeah, I know, right? Front runner for label of the year.
Right in the feels you did there.
I'm going to go ahead and nominate probably the fish bottle to come down. It's either that or Champion Brute.
I still like Champion Brute.
Yeah.
So I would vote for the
I think the fish bottle. We replaced the fish bottle with the fishing can
solid.
fitting.
Solid.
But yeah, so it's Big Lake Brewing out of Holland, Michigan. It's the Michigan Amber Ale. When I read Amber Ale before I tasted it, I thought it was going to be a darker for some reason.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
I just assumed in my head it was going to be a little darker of a beer, but no, it's pretty good.
That's pretty light. It's very clean taste to it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what the old Untappd app has to say. It's a 5.7, which fantastic numbers.
Yeah.
It's not too much, but this is a all-day drinker.
For a 16-ounce can, that's pretty
Yeah.
pretty solid.
Return on investment. They don't really have a description for it, like on the site, but they do have quite the bit of wording on the back. Oh, that's a government warning.
Yeah, no. There's a little bit of just that little tiny message there.
An amber ale with a perfect balance of malt and hops. Yeah, I'm going to say that's accurate.
Dive in.
It's delicious.
It's hard to use the word perfect, but
I think it's an overused word,
right.
and it kind of lost its
In this case, though,
punch, if you will.
I'll give it to him.
No, it's very nice. It's a well-balanced fucking beverage. It's not too hoppy, but you can still taste the hops.
Yeah. Shout out to Holland, Michigan. Big Lake Brewing.
They're doing some good stuff. They've had a very consistent line, in my opinion. And for one we don't really get to partake in often because it's kind of hard to find in our neck of the woods.
I've seen a couple that were Michigan State themed.
Yep, those are pretty common. But like what else? We've had, I think, 2 other ones from them.
Yeah.
Including Michigan Amber.
We have to go back through and, you know,
It wasn't too long ago.
do
either.
some research
Yeah.
on that. But we have had a couple from them, yes. Good stuff.
Very good. Highly recommended.
I went ahead and gave it a 3.25
3.25.
on the old Untappd. Yeah.
Let's see.
Digging it. Tagged it under smooth
Smooth criminal.
in a can.
I'm going to get it a 3.75.
3.75.
It's not quite a 4,
right.
but it's pretty fucking tasty.
I'm a fan of the white 4-pack, the holder there.
Yes.
That's interesting.
The plastic, the newer version, the plastic
Recyclable
toppers.
Yeah.
I don't know what exactly they're called, but yeah, because the majority of the time they're just black.
Right.
So it's nice that they color coded with the can.
Yeah. Pretty sharp. Check them out, folks, if you can find it in your area. If not, I'm sure there's on the web,
Yeah. Somewhere on that internet.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, there's hints of caramel to this.
Well, I don't taste it yet, but
Neither do I. It's very subtle, we'll say. But no.
it'd be cool if they put the ratios on there.
The recipe?
Yeah.
I don't think
Yeah,
they
like
were frowned upon.
How much caramel you're supposed to taste. We used,
Yeah.
6% or whatever they want to call it.
And it depends on how big of a batch they made. So some of them might be a little bit like, oh, I tasted more in this can than I did in the previous.
True. Bottom of the barrel type stuff,
Yeah.
or top of the barrel, whatever.
I mean, it's not as like it was Old Nation where it's like, please roll to get the sediment moving.
Pulp included.
Yeah. When you buy it, they give you a strainer at the counter.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if they're in there like just hosing down the inside of the.
Oh God, the vat. Yeah, just
and-
think how like sludge and we use that for mash.
Hey, I'll tell you what, it was good beer.
Oh, it was tasty.
Whatever they were doing, it was good
They're
beer.
doing, yeah. Again, Michigan is just knocking out the craft beer scene. So much so that a lot of the smaller ones are starting to pair up or merge, if you will.
True.
What was it? Oddside and Right Brain, I believe.
Actually, now,
There's another one. Was it Dark Horse or
no, I think it's Gonzo's Big
Gonzo
Dog.
and Gonzo Big Dog and
I want to say Saugatuck.
Saugatuck? Yes,
Or
yeah, it was Saugatuck.
maybe Right Brain.
No, it was Saugatuck.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was very excited because I was like, oh, the damage they could do with brown ales now.
Right. Right. Yeah. Saugatuck had that one.
Bonfire Brown.
Yep. That was.
It's still my favorite out of all the beers we've tried on the show.
That's the peak, huh?
That is the bar that has been set.
Well, hopefully
least
we'll
for
find.
me.
Yeah.
For me.
Absolutely. It's hard. I'm telling you. I think the first beards that we had, not the one with the owl on it.
No.
We had
What
one.
was it?
Pez gave us a can, and we split it.
Yeah.
Drawing
Damn
a
it,
blank.
Pez.
I know, right?
And again, in the studio, the black hole of information.
True.
It's not the best time to be. You're like,
It's like the Bermuda Triangle of thought in here. Just goes away. But since we're talking about beer and mergers and different things, I did read a headline. Again, I'm a headline kind of person when it comes to the internet there. Pabst Blue Ribbon is making a whiskey or some liquor. Might be a rum. I think it's a whiskey.
I have it up here.
But I believe it's New Holland Brewing.
Has the
has
commission.
they're going to be distilling.
Pabst Blue Ribbon Whiskey.
Okay.
A label surfaced this week for PBR Whiskey, an apparent collaboration with brewer-distiller New Holland Brewing, based in Michigan.
I like it.
Aged 5 seconds. It's going to be an 80 proof whiskey that is slated for a 750 milliliter bottle.
Was that a fifth?
Yeah,
Okay.
I believe.
I'm pretty sure it's a fifth.
Yeah, my conversion chart's a little slow today. But since
Hashtag part of math.
But I do believe the contract that PBR had, I think it was with Coors. Like Coors would manufacture and can all PBR,
Okay.
and then you would use their distributors.
Yeah, I know. I don't know
And
if
then
it was Coors, though, because Budweiser distributes PBR around our area.
Okay,
The people that distribute Budweiser.
Fair enough. Well, I think it was. I don't know if it was Coors, but the contract they had from long ago.
No, you might. I think you might be right. Yeah.
Because I know
Yeah.
Coors was contracted to make it up until I think last year.
Right.
And this year they were like, "Yeah, we're not making any more because we're spending way more money and you're just collecting profit." So we got to figure out a better balance, and there was a whole uproar.
I think Pabst got bought by a German company or
I think
something.
that happened after the fact.
Okay.
And then,
all right.
So that way they had more clout going in, and
oh yeah.
and now they're jumping into the whole spirits community. And
Here we
with
go.
PBR's brand appreciation, I think they're going to do just fine.
It's funny, every time I buy beer where I am in a party store or something and I get PBR, there's always somebody in line to make a comment.
They have to.
Oh,
It's
my
PBR.
grandfather used to
He'd
drink that
all
beer.
the time.
You know, blah, blah, blah. I always tell them the same thing. Well, I'm an old soul, whatever.
And the price is right.
You know, with beer and me, over the years, it became whatever was available. The people I was hanging out with that drank specific beers, I just ended up drinking those beers, you know. So I would go through different times. I remember at one point it was the champagne of beers we were drinking exclusively all the time.
Because a 30-pack was, what, $12?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really beat that.
There was a time when Natty Light, Natty Ice.
because it was like an $8 30-pack.
And it was everywhere. They were buying 30-packs, you know, and it was just like you go to the party, boom, that's the beer.
Everyone brought a case.
Right.
And it's
hanging
just
out with Pez. It was PBR in the fridge every day. Whenever we were there, okay, I'm drinking PBR.
Which is quite the jump if you think about it for Pez. Like someone who, I wouldn't say strictly, because there was a lot of different type of whiskeys and other such involved. But mainly, his mainstay was PBR for how long?
It still is for the most part.
For the most part, no. But since he got into
craft beers,
yeah,
you know,
since he started actually brewing his own works, then he's like, oh yes, I can really taste the Amarillo hops in this one. So shut the fuck up, Pez. You don't taste no Amarillo hops.
Well,
but
we
apparently,
tasted his beer.
Oh God, he needs to. Oh, I would invest in that company.
We're gonna start a GoFundMe, folks. Trademark.
There we go. He just needs to come up. Was it the Big Red Barn?
Yeah,
possibly.
Pez, if you're listening, I really do like Barnyard Brewery.
Sounds kind of weird.
Maybe if it's available.
Yeah. And we would also like you back on the show.
Or something to do with chickens. That'd be kind of cool. You know.
Having his name, his true name,
right? His real name.
I mean, you got to be able to work with that.
Roll with it, buddy. Let's
I'm just
go.
saying. You got options, sir.
We'll set up the GoFundMe. You brew the beer. Beer's one of them things, man. A lot of people, you know, you can get together, you can have a beer, you can sit and enjoy company.
I was talking to my mom the other day, and this is related to beer and alcohol of sorts. And it was funny because it's true. Like right now in the news, Michigan has a governor who wants to put in a
45 cent
gas tax, which would make Michigan far and away the leader in that bracket.
Mm-hmm. To go along with the highest car insurance.
Hey, tit for tat, because we got to pay for those roads somehow. Because we do have shitty roads. We will not fucking deny that at all, but there's probably other ways we can get that money.
Oh, yeah.
Because, all right, well, yeah, but that's a whole nother talk.
Yeah,
anyway, there's also a 41% tax increase for small businesses. That's also
gonna
hit hard.
That's gonna hurt.
Now, the one thing that the government, big, small, doesn't matter, has learned not to fuck with is alcohol. Now, if you go back and look at the last big tax hike in beer or alcohol, you're jumping back to the 60s, 70s.
Okay.
And when that happened, they changed it. Because before that, the last big alcohol-related thing was Prohibition.
Right.
In a fun little
that
fact.
Hurt.
Yeah. It just cost the government money. They missed out on so much.
So do you think they should be taxing the alcohol? Is that
no, they will never.
No,
they'll never fuck with alcohol again, because if they do that, then that's when surprisingly people in the United States would stand up like France is.
Yeah,
and be like, "Oh, you're fucking with my booze."
Right.
This is America.
I'm going to say this right now. I'm not for the gas tax. I think it's a ridiculous idea.
It is ridiculous.
15 cents every 6 months for a year and a half. It doesn't make sense to me. I do believe that they can get that money in so many other ways.
Yeah.
That I can think of off the top of my head would be legalized gambling, like online gambling or
marijuana just became legal in Michigan. Use that money
right
for the roads.
I was thinking about this a long time ago, and I brought it up to your brother Aaron in conversation, and we went back and forth. I don't remember the details of what we talked about, but I was thinking to myself, like, the one thing that really hasn't changed to my knowledge is the general idea of a driver's test out on the road.
Okay.
Right? Your signals, your seatbelts, your in the lanes, your speed, this, that, and the other thing. Whether you're 16, 17 years old or 35 years old or 50 years old, the driving test is pretty much universal. I mean, we can agree on that. We can also agree that at least here in our part of this state, there are some terrible fucking drivers.
It is amazing.
I mean, it's outstanding that this many people get away with it on a daily basis, just being terrible fucking drivers. I think maybe every 2 years on your birthday, you should have to go retake a road test.
I fully agree with that.
And you should pay for it.
Yep.
And that money
Will be going towards...
could go to roads because it's tied into operators on the roads.
At the very least, it could go to fund its own program.
At least.
Absolutely. That's minimum.
Right.
Yeah. But I'm not in government, and I don't know how to, cook the books and put money in my pocket. So
it does, like, when I say it out loud, it does feel like a little bit more government reach over you.
But I mean,
but
it's necessary.
You have to go get your driver's license renewed every, was it 4 years?
Every 4, yeah.
Okay.
And you just take a little 10-question quiz.
If that. Yeah.
And an eye test.
What if your driving record based which road test you had to take?
Ooh.
Like if we had a pretty basic...
Like if nothing, no tickets, no accidents, no nothing
your goal.
In that. Yeah,
it's 10 minutes.
Here's your little questionnaire.
Right. Drive this person around, take your little questionnaire, pay the cheaper amount.
Yeah. Have a tiered program.
2 points, 4 points,
Okay.
DUIs. You know what I mean? You can go all the way up the spectrum.
You could.
Because there's so many different bad decisions people make behind the wheel. If you get a ticket with your cell phone in your hand or putting your makeup on, sorry, ladies, but, it happens.
I've seen the most aggressive case.
If you get arrested or pulled over for having sex in your car, you're going up to the top of the tier here, buddy.
If you're having sex and driving at the same time, you should take the lower of the, because that takes a lot of focus.
You'll get respect, but I mean, come on.
You might be
you
like,
got
oh,
caught.
Shit.
You got caught.
If it's a parked car, then
that's not driving.
That's not driving.
That's totally different there. I don't know. It might not be a great idea, but I've thought about it. I've done a lot of driving over the past decade for work.
Yeah.
Probably decade and a half, and I've seen some terrible drivers.
To jump back real quick about the makeup while driving, while living in California, I was going down the 101 highway.
Okay.
And this chick, I'm doing 70. This chick blows by me doing 90, has the visor down for the mirror, driving with her elbow that's attached to the hand that's applying the makeup.
The other hand's probably what? Drinking
Holding
a lot.
her phone.
Oh, jeez. So she can see.
She was talking to someone.
Oh.
So she's in
She's
the
probably
mirror
on her YouTube channel.
doing eyeliner, which I don't know if you've ever watched a woman put on eyeliner.
I have.
That takes a lot of my face has to be in this very specific pose.
No moving.
Mouth open,
right.
eyes wide, with a fucking little stick of death
Trying
while
to
drying.
Hold one eye shut.
Yeah. It's how the fuck?
One bump in the road and you're blind in one eye.
She cuts off a semi.
Oh, jeez.
And then comes to a dead stop because of traffic. And she's sideways almost. Half in a lane, half in another lane. Still on the phone, still applying her makeup.
Wow.
And I was just like, that takes the biggest set of fucking balls.
Yeah.
But she handled the situation. I mean, the fact that she was doing eyeliner, driving 90 with an elbow, had the
That's ballsy.
cognitive ability to go, I need that lane. Swipe in before the fucking traffic jam. And then continue her day like nothing fucking happened. I was just like, I thought I was an okay driver. Compared to her,
right?
She could do NASCAR. Fuck it. The F1 series. Get her in the car.
I don't know, man. I consider myself a good driver. I really do.
And I've done multiple cross-country trips. And from what I've experienced, I'm a above 50%.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. We're above the average when it comes
Yeah.
to driving.
Michigan prepares you.
Yeah, right.
It's like, oh, there's 2 feet of snow. I can do 70. Like,
You know what else prepares you is to riding a motorcycle in Michigan. Your reflexes have to be almost cat-like.
that scares the shit. That's the only
Right.
thing
And
that
I'll
keeps
tell you
me
what,
from riding.
that trip
Is
that
other
I
fucking
took
people.
up north and back on that
Yeah.
motorcycle, holy shit.
I definitely change your perspective. I would assume.
75, 80 miles an hour, watching for potholes, watching for other drivers,
People,
deer.
fuck yeah.
Shit, dude. Worrying about rain. You pull something like that off, you got
Applause.
a little room to talk,
Yeah,
you know.
I think so.
Yeah, I've often wondered, like, I know a lot. We joke on the show about people from Ohio, and we got love for you, Ohio. We really do. It's
Yeah.
just fun.
The one place
Don't
we do
take it
not have love
personally.
for is Oklahoma. And
Well, that's
you might be
you.
different. Yeah, this is
I've never been
purely
there, so,
me.
right?
It is the armpit of the fucking country. The road, like the highway, the toll fucking highway,
Yeah.
beautiful, but there's nothing. There's nothing to your left. There's nothing to your right.
What I was getting at is when like you see an Ohio plate in Michigan, you know, come
Yeah.
on, Ohio,
Or Ontario, you're like,
right.
how many kilometers a minute you doing there, guy?
Right. Get the fuck out of my way. But then you go to, like, I went to Cleveland for a concert and I had to drive, you know, and it's not the same, but it's not a different planet. But I still, the whole time I was driving, I kept thinking to myself, I'm the Michigan plate.
Yeah,
They're probably
I'm that
all
guy.
doing the same thing to me, right?
Oh, yeah.
I got over in the turn lane a little bit late. I could feel 6 people's eyes just staring at me. Get the fuck out of the way, Michigan.
They don't know how to fucking drive up there.
Right.
Now, do you think that adds more pressure subconsciously while driving?
I definitely remember thinking about it.
Yeah.
I don't know that it was pressure. It was more of a joke to myself.
Okay.
You know, as I was driving. Like, I bet you're saying that as they pass by me, and they're clearly they're looking over at me because, you know, I'm the Michigan plate and at the intersection.
You're the oddball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's different if you're in Toledo because
Oh, yeah.
you know, you're right
pretty
there.
much Michigan, Toledo.
Right. But
There was
you
a
get-
war fought over you, and
You get down to some of them bigger cities in the middle
Yeah.
of the state there, and you're like, oh, shit, I stand out.
I mean, if it wasn't for Toledo, we wouldn't have the UP.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Way to go, Toledo. And your sinkholes. And all your other fun activities you got going on down there.
I do remember one time being in the band many moons ago. We played a gig in Toledo, and I had a hat on that said Detroit. I had a shirt on that said Detroit, you know, and it wasn't like I was repping my city.
Yeah.
It was just the clothes I was wearing. And somebody flipped a lit cigarette butt at my head. Luckily, he didn't have very good aim.
Ah, that's funny.
I was like, damn it, why are we in this state? We got to get out of here. Although looking back on it, it could have just been that I was terrible in the band. It didn't have anything
It
to
could
do
have been
with
a
where
lot
I
of
was
different
from.
things at that point.
You're just not good.
No. It was my Detroit hoodie.
Right. So let's change lanes here.
It's a good time for it.
We still haven't officially got back on track with our homework.
That is true.
It is what it is, folks.
It's an interesting time for
We're having
Cornell's
fun.
Chronicles.
Yeah.
Definitely after episode 74, we can definitely catch up and try to improve those grades for you.
Yeah, definitely. Things are going to iron out, you know, after 74. Things are going to take stride. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. 74 is going to be a fun one.
So, again, we failed to assign ourselves homework, but while going through the internet, for some reason I'm a fan of this BBC. They just seem to post a lot of interesting stories.
They really do.
You know, and
Yeah.
it's stuff you don't see mainly because our media is solely focused on all things political.
It sells.
100% of the fucking
Yeah.
time. So,
A quick interjection before you start. I just wanted something that caught me the other day that I noticed. And I didn't really think about it until I seen it. My dad was watching the news,
okay.
and every time it came back from commercial, whatever story it started with, they would start with breaking news. And I went, huh,
It's the same story.
it's not really breaking because
No.
they're talking about something that happened.
It's just one new bit of information
Yeah. And
to
I was
the
like,
story.
huh. So I started watching other channels here and there just to see, and they do it too.
They all do it.
They all do it. It's all breaking news. It's not fucking breaking news.
Right.
It's not like it happened 2 minutes ago. We have live coverage. No. It's like 3 weeks ago in fucking Guam.
Something we've been talking about literally all day long.
Yeah.
Is now breaking news. It's just a different head in the screen.
Yeah, and you switched. Yeah, which fucking boggles my mind.
Yep.
How is that news? I don't. That's
For some reason,
that's another conversation to get into.
Right.
But how is it breaking news?
Oh no,
that's
it's
all
not.
I want to know.
It's not.
I want them to explain to me how something that happened.
I think it's just for like somebody flipping to that channel for the first time in the last 2 hours.
I think it's an attention getter.
Absolutely.
This is breaking.
I didn't hear.
We landed
this.
on the moon. Oh my! When?
Way to go, gang.
Neil Armstrong.
Depends on who you're talking to.
Again, yeah. Lloyd Christmas. We landed on the moon.
Some people think it was a hoax, buddy. Careful who you.
My mind didn't even go in that direction.
Careful who you offend.
I apologize to the flat earthers.
All right. So, anyways, the BBC.
Anyway, back on track.
So I seen this video, and I don't know. It's just very, very impressive to me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hit play, and I'm going to hand you the phone.
A couple masked gentlemen in a porta potty?
It isn't.
Oh, okay.
But that's just as good. And if you would like to kind of describe what you're seeing,
okay.
When I hand you the phone, if you've already seen the video, then we'll both talk about it.
Yeah, okay.
As long as it plays.
Okay, we have two gentlemen underwater on a Lego-like corals are designed and are 3D printed to be cast in ceramic. Are they making artificial reefs?
Yes.
MARV stands for... Oh, I missed it. Modular... Oh, that's fucking genius.
The best part is it's working.
Oh, that's beautiful. So we will have a link for this.
Yes, absolutely.
Wow. Geometric helix shapes. I don't know what the best way to... Well, it's beautiful.
They're like building blocks, kind of.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Lego version of ceramic geometric patterns, and they're building artificial reefs, and it's catching.
There are certain schools of fish that it's attracting. They're taking.
It's bringing back the ecosystem.
Pieces of actual reef
and infusing it, so it's and which once you start doing that, it'll start
growing
and,
around the ceramic structure.
Yeah, so it's pretty much a base to rebuild.
Right, and they're doing it in fairly shallow water, so they have easy access to it to study it, monitor it, make sure everything's going the way they think it should.
And it bolts together. I mean, it's not complicated.
No.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And a giant 3D printer can build...
Yeah.
Right? So you get multiple 3D printers.
Oh, yeah. And honestly, right now, the 3D printing technology is growing leaps and bounds.
It's blowing my mind, which is what drew me to this video.
Oh, it's lovely.
I mean, they're 3D printing like
you can do
implants.
So much.
You know what I mean? Like it's
early on.
They can make you a fucking hip.
Early on with the 3D printing, the 3D printed a functional heart out of, I forget what tissue. It was, I don't know if it was stem cells or what exactly they used, but it was a functional heart, and it was pure white because it didn't have any blood in it, which was creepy. But the idea for it was it's a universal donor heart.
Okay.
Your blood would supply it, so you wouldn't have to find a match for a donor.
Right. And they could put your blood into it and get it
going. They do like
a custom tube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's fucking 3D printing is going to change the world.
So,
yes, but I think that is amazing that they're building the coral reefs. If they do like the Great Barrier Reef off Australia,
right,
because that's been having a very hard time.
Right. They can repair that now.
They can repair that.
That's fucking awesome.
Oh, it's amazing.
That's going to change things. That combined with the newfound insistency, not insistency, that's not the word I'm looking for.
Call to action?
Yeah, kind of call to action to clean the oceans, get all the trash out, you know.
One thing that bothers me, and it's bothered me since elementary school because I didn't understand it, and I still don't understand it. Everyone's infatuated with space. I am too.
Right.
Like, Elon Musk wants to colonize Mars. Fucking good on
Going
you.
home.
Whew. All right.
What about the ocean?
We haven't explored maybe 20% of it.
Yeah, I think you're being
I'm,
you're being gracious.
I
with
may
that.
be. There's so much that we could learn. I remember right around junior high, maybe before 6th grade, on the Discovery Channel, back when it was like a environmental
Yeah.
source of information instead of like, next week on Us Road Truckers.
Breaking news.
Breaking news. Back when it was actually something of fucking education. They were interviewing a guy, and he was talking about, again, the black hole of information. The actual place's name. It's pretty much the NASA for underwater exploration.
Oh, like the head of oceanography or something.
Something, I forget
Yeah.
their acronym and all that. But he was like, there's a fun little fact. Like, as much in the news as you hear that, like, oh, they cut NASA's funding by this much, and now we might not, blah, 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 blah. He's like, they get, I forget the figure he threw out. He's like, this much. However, millions of
Lots of
fucking
money.
Millions. He's like, do you know how much we get from the government? And it was like 0.08%. He's like, for every 100 million they get, we get like $100 or $1,000. He was like, if they put 1 year worth of funding for NASA to us, it would fund us for the next 20 years.
Yeah.
And he was like, given all this, like, and he was like, and we haven't even explored, like, before that, and that's before we went down to the Mariana Trench,
Yeah.
which only, I think, got more limelight because fucking James Cameron wanted to go down there.
Yeah.
And there's just so much that we don't know. And they're like, well, the pressures and blah. It's like, fuck you, vacuum of space, bitch.
And the other thing too is they keep finding new species in the ocean.
Daily.
We ain't got shit from space.
Not yet.
Like, I mean,
Yeah.
we have some rocks,
Speculation, and we
some-
found things.
There's some
and-
dust
yeah.
from Planet X or whatever, but
And I agree that, like, space is important. But we should check out our own backyard before we travel down the fucking block, you know?
yeah, because if the world's gonna end in 12 years and we're all flooded out, let's learn how to live underwater. Maybe
I've
we
seen
can
Waterworld,
survive.
goddammit.
Yeah, shit. If we can build a structure that's gonna live on Mars, can't we build one, inflate it, and sink it, and we all live in that? You know.
And kind of a callback to Shark Week, the real Shark Week. I'm stupid. Anyway, there was a story about they tagged a great white shark, right, with a GPS tracker. And they were tracking it, and it was swimming along, and then it changed in body heat by like 70 degrees and dropped, I think, about 300 feet in depth in the matter of seconds.
Wow.
And they were like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah. He took a dive.
He got eaten.
Oh.
Which they're like, that makes sense, you know?
Right.
Something ingested, it's inside there. It's now in a little oven of fish.
Right.
So the body heat would go up. It dove like a couple 100 feet in depth.
Right.
It's like, huh. And then they're like, here's the kicker. It's a 17-foot long fucking great white. What ate it?
Well, yeah, there's
Give me a list of
there's
creatures that could eat.
a big-ass whale, obviously, would be the creature, right?
I don't know.
I mean, that would be the explanation thus far. Air quotes.
Their air quote explanation was a bigger great white.
See, yeah, I have a hard time believing that.
I was like, okay, but at that point, like, it had to at least minimum 25 feet.
Or, realistically, it could have
Realistically.
bitten half the shark with
That
the tracking
portion.
device.
Yeah.
It could have.
Yeah.
But if it swallowed the shark whole, you would
But
think,
not,
too...
not even necessarily whole, but like a good chunk out
Enough
of
of it.
Something that has the balls to go against a 17-foot great white.
Right.
And it was like, there were no great or orcas, killer
Maybe
whales.
we don't want to discover what ate it.
Or we already know, and we're like, nope, going to the moon. Everyone look up.
Leave
Everyone
that
look up.
alone. Maybe what's eating great white sharks is what came from Mars, and we're like, fuck this. We're going to go there now.
Oh, God. Off the East Coast, I want to say someone in Maryland or Connecticut. Not 100%. Again, this is going off memory. But there's a small naval base. And it's not your average naval base. I would say it's a naval compound.
Right.
And it's consistent of like 3 buildings behind multiple fences. There's armed guards out front that do patrols.
Oh, yeah.
much like Area 51 that has a sign that says, beyond this point,
Right.
lethal force is authorized. And you're like, okay,
They're probably covering the city of Atlantis down there.
but it's at the fucking coast,
Right.
It's right up on the coast of fucking the ocean. And you can't take your boat within a certain area because they have patrol boats. that go
Underwater
around.
hatch.
Out of the building, I think they used early versions of Google Maps, which I think now that place is blocked out. But in the early versions, you could see large cables coming out of one building,
Going into the water.
going into the water.
Yeah, buddy.
And you can see in the video that like there's after about 20 feet out, there's a huge drop off, and you can see the cables going, and they go down. And when I say cables, I don't mean like your standard fucking like Ethernet or
No.
HDMI.
No,
I mean
these are like holding underground city in place cables.
like shit you would see on the Ambassador Bridge or
Yeah,
Golden
buddy.
Gate Bridge, like
You know
steel
what?
casing.
We already know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
What's going on down there? Come on now.
And it's like, explain that shit. Something is afoot at the Circle K, my friend. And if you have authorized force to kill somebody, it has to be something of interest.
Do you think we'll ever see a day where those places are like?
Exposed
Yeah,
and actually talked about?
yeah.
Us? No.
No.
Possibly your kids? Shit would have to go sideways for that type of stuff to get released.
Shout out to France.
So, fuck. Viva la vida.
I talk about sideways. Especially if they tax our gas. I heard, we're going to jump back on that real quick because
Okay,
I
real
didn't say
quick.
this earlier. Somebody called into the local radio station on the AM dial there that I listen
right.
to, and they said, what if we came out with a new scratch-off ticket? And you could offer your basic scratch-off prizes, money, whatever. One of them could be a set of brand new tires for your car.
Okay.
And then you just take that money and pay for the fucking roads. People eat lotto up like it's fucking...
Funny that you talk about that. Do you know what the money for Michigan lottery goes to?
Well, they say it goes to
Quote,
schools.
unquote.
Right.
Uh-huh.
And I
And-
do believe a good portion of it goes to schools, but I believe it goes
And?
to very rich school districts who don't need the money as much as maybe some other districts do. But I can't
it also
prove that.
goes to infrastructure. A portion of it is set aside because they've had that idea.
Well, that word.
And that's why they've
Such a
increased the
blanket.
cost.
Infrastructure. We'll just sweep it all under
Exactly.
there and then do what we
But
need
you're
to
not
do
allowed to
with it.
see where a record's say.
Oh, hell no.
Or the how many times Michigan has failed to produce the books for the budget to get money from the federal government. We're like, it's not done yet. Wait, what? Like what? I think the last time it happened, Michigan filed an extension for 8 months, so that way they could get all the books together.
Right.
That's like,
Cover some tracks.
you dirty fuckers. It's like the federal government one time spent, I think it was like $8,000 on a toilet seat for the Pentagon.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
$4,000 for a hammer, something of that sort. It's like, really?
Yeah.
May I see that receipt? Is it a solid gold hammer?
Infrastructure.
Infrastructure. Yeah. So
Dangerous word, folks.
since we don't actually see where the money goes,
Right.
they're like, oh, we're going to need a tax. It's like, didn't you just have a tax for the roads?
I'm pretty sure there was one and we voted it down and then they pushed it through anyways or some crazy
they
shit.
will. Or they revised it and dropped
Right.
it by like 2%.
Not to get too political, but I don't understand why people go into politics.
Because they like money.
I know, but right now I'm saying it's such a
It's
dangerous
it's
time
a
to have skeletons in
volatile
your
time. Oh.
closet. You know what I mean? Like you would basically have to go out there and just confession everything in the first debate to where they couldn't look any dirt up on you. And unless your initials are DJT, they're probably going to find some shit.
But that's another thing. When they do find shit, all a politician has to do is apologize and step down, and they can't be prosecuted for it.
It's dirty business there.
I mean, when you're the person who makes the rules,
Mm-hmm.
and you're like, you know what? A, we need a raise. B, we'll just add this little stipulation attached to this bill saying that we can't be in trouble. It's like, all right. When is enough? Both
Well-
on the side of people taking it and on the side of politicians being greedy. Because there's a general understanding that if you go into politics, that
Right. Eventually
they're
gonna get to you.
something. Yeah.
I mean, unless you're fucking Ron or Rand Paul, which I'm sure they got skeletons too.
Yeah. There is no politician that I fully believe that is the squeakiest clean person.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck you. If you're in politics, it's there for a reason, and it's not to help people.
Homeboy with the eye patch might be pretty clean.
I don't know much about him, to be honest.
Me neither, but
He looks like a badass.
He's ruffling feathers. That's
he's
for
the
sure,
only one
so
with an eye patch.
That's true. He's got my vote. If I lived wherever he's,
if he has a boss name to go with it, fuck.
I think his name is Dan Crenshaw.
Dan Crenshaw. I mean, if it was cool, if it was I don't know, Max Steel or Max Power or some shit. It was he could be a fucking villain. Let's roll those dice.
Snake Plissken.
All right, here's the thought. What year is it? It's 2019.
Mm-hmm.
The next election is what?
2020.
2020. What if Elon Musk is just hey, I'm running for something?
Well, it would depend.
Or is he just going to I'm going to be king of Mars?
It would just depend on what he's running for, I think, in my opinion. Because
What would you vote for?
There's only one job that the whole country votes together on, right?
Yeah.
And that's president.
President.
Everybody else is... Okay. I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure. Fuck it. Let's vote for him.
I mean,
what's the worst that can happen?
Just
at this
off
point?
his visions.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Shit, what he did on Rogan's podcast had my vote.
Homeboy walks in with a flamethrower. It's that's going to be tough to beat.
These guys, he made a fucking flamethrower. I don't know any other politician shot a car into space. So what's up,
His
dude?
car.
Yeah.
His fucking car. With a spacesuit in the driver's seat. Because I was all right, dude.
Some of these other clowns that are running for office, shit, line them up.
I just think with his wealth and mental
capacities.
Yeah. He's a smart dude. He's weird, but he's smart.
Mm-hmm.
And he knows I'm going to do this.
Something's going on.
I want this to get done.
Yep.
And it gets done.
When we were talking about the 3D printing,
yeah,
the thing that drew me to that video that I thought about, which kind of ties into a little bit of Elon Musk somehow, there's a connection there. I don't know what it is, right?
Yeah.
But if they're 3D printing body parts, and we all know the inside scoop here on Ancestry and some of these companies that are taking your DNA and they're obviously not throwing it away when they're done with it. They're using it for something.
Yeah.
Come on. What do you think the odds are that we see cloned human beings in our lifetime?
Full functioning human beings or bits and pieces? Because I think in our lifetime, we will see companies come out that hey, John, I hear you need a fucking kidney. Well, since you did, 23andMe or Ancestry.com, we have your DNA on file. We can recreate you one that's an exact match. It's only going to cost you $10,000.
Right.
We'll have it printed out in 2 days. You go in, swap them out. You walk out in 3 days.
I mean,
but full on.
We can assume that's happening now, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They're trying.
I'm talking about
figuring that
Terminator shit.
Terminator, where they full on human clone.
You see videos of robots.
Yeah.
They're on two limbs and
Bipedal.
they're walking and jumping and running. So they
even Hollywood now has a robot that's so lifelike. They're using it for as stunt.
Okay.
So people don't have to do the crazy fucking stunts.
Right.
Pirates
they just green screen the robot in doing the stunt.
They were doing. There's video of it. I think they used it on the upcoming Pirates of the Caribbean. For all when they grab a rope and go flying and do 3 flips, and it looks exactly like a person's body would react.
Okay.
So
if you were to just take one of those robots and 3D print skin, for lack of a better word,
to develop that clone
a
around it,
right? Mm-hmm. And it would just be an animatronic walking around.
It would be a cyborg at that point, depending on how they wanted to go about it.
Well,
living tissue on a
cyborg to me would be like it's operating on its own, whereas I'm thinking they're going to be programmed to do certain things, much like a car with no driver.
I'm not 100% sure on the definition, but I think cyborg is just the joining between organic and mechanical tissue.
See, there would be nothing organic about this.
Well, if it had skin and...
But it's 3D printed.
Right?
It's not actual skin.
Or
it's just a layer of...
What if they use actual stem cells or...
Now, see, that's the other thing. They're growing organs in Petri dishes and shit. So if they can...
You've seen the picture of the rat that had an ear growing off of it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if they can combine the two...
They're well on their way, sir. And with the CRISPR, with the gene editing,
I forgot about CRISPR.
It's going to be a crazy fucking place.
So where does Skynet fit into all this?
Well, since our dependence on technology is growing at a rapid pace...
Safe to say we might already be there.
There's... not going to say for sure, but... I mean, look at the... was it that fucking doorbell that has the camera that syncs to your phone?
Mm-hmm.
What doesn't sync to your phone at this point?
Shit, you can start your car from your airplane or whatever.
Yeah.
There was a commercial where they were fucking locking their house and turning lights on and shit from the airplane.
And how many fucking breaches of security where your social security number or information could have been compromised?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're already out there.
Oh, yeah.
The digital you
Oh, yeah.
is gone further.
Unless you've been off the grid for
unless you were
2 decades.
Yeah, and
roughly.
Congratulations if you were fucking.
Right. You're obviously not listening to this.
Yeah, clearly, we'll send a smoke signal.
You're probably not picking up this transmission in your Winnebago and Yosemite, waiting for the volcano to blow.
You know, your tinfoil hat. Presumably, we don't know. But I mean, it's right now with technology where it stands and the leaps it's taking.
Uh-huh.
I mean, if you look back in the 60s at like a computer with like 3 megabytes, like, oh my God, that was the shit.
Right. That was like having
and
a
it took
pager
up
in the
like
80s.
5 rooms, you know, just to have that. And now you could have a fucking shit. How much your fucking memory does your phone have? Your phone has more technology than any spacecraft that the United States has put out pre-1980. Guaranteed.
Yeah, it's very much more compact.
Yeah, and you carry it around in your pocket.
It's weird, isn't it?
Oh, dude, it's horribly weird when you actually stop and think about it.
It's crazy to see where we've come.
Yeah. Think of like the gold rushers, right?
Mm-hmm.
That crossed an unknown land to go to fucking California for
On a
fortune.
hope.
On a hope. A hope that maybe I'll strike it rich.
Maybe.
Maybe I won't die on the fucking however month long. Like, I won't die of dysentery or fucking...
Hopefully my horse makes it all the way across.
Lost another oxen.
Mm-hmm.
Hit this fort and stock up on axles.
You know, depending on where we're headed, that shit might come back around.
True, but it's also an interesting thought. It's like, all right, we have things now that we couldn't have dreamed of in the early 90s, right?
True.
What's going to hit in 2030? We'll be around for it, hopefully.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah, we never know what's going to happen. I mean, we can't guarantee shit, but I think,
10 years is a long time, but it'll go by super quick.
It will.
So,
like, all right, when your kids are 40, what kind of world are they going to live in?
I don't know.
Think of how archaic a fucking tablet
cassette tape is.
Oh, yeah. To them, like, all right, you try to explain, like, hey, so when I watched on the laser disc, what's a laser disc? Think of a CD that shows movies, but it was
What's
like
a CD?
18 times. Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Think of what's archaic to them and what's going to be archaic to their kids.
Mm-hmm.
And that's shit we haven't even seen before. Ooh, that's frightening. Like,
buckle up, folks.
I know. It's a weird thought.
I hope I'm here to see it. Fuck it. Whatever direction it takes, I'll adapt.
But, like, helping, have you ever had to help one of your mom or your dad with a computer issue or a cell phone issue? Like, how do I do this? And you're just like, God damn, it's this. Just do this.
Yeah.
And, like, there's probably moments when, like, you're doing something with your kids. And you're like,
Fortnite.
And you're like, how do I? And you're like, God damn, Dad, just hit B, move over, do bop, bop.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, that's a lot of information to take in right now. And to think, like, fuck, 18 years ago, I was you, kid.
Right. Playing Mario.
I
can't beat level 3. Throwing controllers.
You don't know the secret level? Fucking noob.
How you not going to tell me the Contra code? Come on, you got to tell me the fucking Contra code.
Your kids will never know the Contra code.
No.
Ever. It'll be a T-shirt they wear to be ironic.
I do like that joke on the internet where if we all just keep writing in cursive, it'll be our own little secret coded language, that nobody's going to understand because they don't teach cursive anymore. So
I like that.
Yeah, if you just write everything in cursive, they won't even be able to fucking read it.
Oh. Here's a question. How do you sign your name? Do you sign it in cursive?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What's it going to be like when your kids, like, go to sign?
Fingerprints.
Oh, fuck you.
I don't even think it'll be.
Fuck yeah, they won't even.
I mean, with the
way to shoot down my whole fucking.
Well, sorry, but that's just what I think.
Technology, motherfucker.
Well, with the microchip that they're doing on people now,
that's
voluntarily
that's
people
a
are
bit
signing
much.
up for it.
Yeah, it's kind of growing steam in the Europe area.
Shit, there's that company in Wisconsin. They did it. Yeah, they got a microchip. It opens their doors, turns on computers.
No, thank you.
Accesses vending machines.
No,
like you don't need money anymore. You just
because it has again
pulls
like your
off
cell phone.
Your little account there and shit. Oh yeah.
Oh no.
I don't want to sign up for it, but it'll get to the point where you won't have any control
Where it's a standard,
over it.
yeah.
If you go in for a simple surgery, they'll
Exactly.
you won't even know it's there.
They want to phase out pennies. The government does, and slowly work their way up to actual hard
Planes,
currency.
Cars, cows. The list goes on.
That's not where I was taking it, but they're just the idea. Like most people use debit cards.
Oh,
or
absolutely.
Apple Pay or Samsung Pay or Google Pay, however digitally you want to do it.
Oh yeah.
Which has frightening consequences for two reasons. One, it's not real.
Nope.
There's no...
Just a number in a computer.
Yeah.
Number two, what happens when that computer shuts down?
Yeah.
Nobody's got any money.
There's no... Like, oh, you didn't print a receipt? Because all the receipts are going to be emailed. What happens?
Absolutely.
I mean, because that's your only proof that, hey, this is my account, and I have X amount of dollars in it. It's up to date, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's going to be a weird situation.
I don't want to promote hacking, but if you could hack into somebody's email and duplicate their receipts,
so easily,
then you could take receipts to the store and get cash back for items you didn't purchase.
This is true.
Disclaimer.
We do
I
not
am
support
not
that.
condoning hacking or doxing.
But let me ask you this. You remember the old $20 bill?
Mm-hmm.
What it looked like?
I actually got one
the
when
other
we were
weekend.
playing poker.
Yeah.
Poker.
Do you remember just the shock? Like everything stops. You're like, holy shit, look at that.
Yeah.
It's not the Monopoly money. You're like, whoa.
I do the same thing every time I see a $2 bill.
Oh, I do too.
Every
and people
time.
collect them. And that, I think, in my mind, is eventually, if they do phase out hard currency, which is stupid to do, because there's so much that could go wrong.
Right.
But it's just going to be a collector's item.
Do you think the value of that will go up to collectors? I mean, like a $2 bill could be worth $20 in Bitcoin or whatever whatever kind of currency we're headed to.
Eventually, it's going to take a long, long time.
Like you got Cash App, I'm gonna wire you $30 for that real $2 bill.
Yeah.
And you're like, holy shit, it's $30. But
it's all about supply and demand.
You're giving up that $2 bill.
Because if we go to that, then they have to destroy the current bulk of the currency. And if people do set aside, like, oh, I got a brand new 20, I'm going to put that away.
Right.
And then 50 years from now, when there isn't hard currency, they have this gem mint $20 bill.
Mm-hmm.
It's no longer...
That goes in a museum.
Exactly. It's more of like, well, they fucking recalled all the money. You had to turn it into the bank to get credit, and then the bank sent it to the federal government where they burned it. So instead of having air quotes,
they buried it in the underwater hatch.
So let's say they printed off, and shits and giggles, 1 million $1 bills. Right? For 1 year. So instead of having 1 million, once they turn it in to get the, digital credit, that 1 million $1 bills goes down to like, all right, maybe there's only 20,000 that people actually have stashed away.
Right.
So instead of being 1 in a million, you're now 1 in 20,000. So it's a rarer thing, and the supply and demand dictates the whole black market or market for.
I received this as a Christmas gift a couple of months ago. Do you remember getting things like this?
Every Christmas Eve.
They're all in sequence.
A book of fucking ones.
Still glued together at the top.
Like for you, I would like put this in a plastic bag or something, secure it.
That's why I haven't broke them apart and spent them.
Yeah, because in like, I don't know.
That's like a vending machine emergency right there. You put that in your bag,
Minted in 2013. So think like.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So think in like 2113, when that's 100 years old and it looks brand new and it's still fucking in a book sealed together in
People are like,
sequential
who's
order.
that old lady on there?
Is that Tosh?
What I was thinking about doing was drawing faces on him. So
And have it like
make
a
it
flip
book.
I wouldn't. I would.
The Thug Life, the sunglasses coming down,
In the
dollars,
joint.
and the joint comes
in the
in.
chain. Just at the very last one is Thug Life.
If I could do that, I would.
That'd be genius. But no, I would say like, if you have those vacuum seals,
Yeah.
if you can vacuum seal that and just put it away somewhere.
I was thinking about getting myself a safety deposit box, putting it,
That's interesting. I don't know if I trust them.
I don't. That's why I don't have one, because I'm not entirely sure that I trust it, because it's
Because
not
I've worked places,
at my house.
yeah, and I've heard of people being security guards. Again, heard of,
Right.
and for like say a hotel, right? Who then might have friends who have access to keys, like the master keys, or can make keys.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't leave shit in hotels. Nothing of value. I'll leave my clothes and blah, but nothing like I don't leave my laptop and
No. I'll put it in the car.
Yeah. Because if you are working in a hotel as security, you know when people come and go.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have the access, you'll be like, well, I'm going up to room 316 because I know they're going out to dinner and they'll be gone for 2 hours.
We're not saying this happens everywhere.
I'm just saying it's a possibility, and I
It
think about that
could
weird shit.
happen.
Yeah. So I don't leave anything of value. And
Same thing if you go to a bar or a concert, a coat check.
Yeah.
Don't leave anything of
Fuck
value in your
no.
coat, because
the people working there, like, they'll run your pockets. They might not take everything, but they'll take a little here and then another coat, a little here, and a little piece by piece adds up.
They reach in your pocket and see $100. They might take 40 of it.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way you can prove that.
Or just 20.
Yeah.
And then another coat, take
Right.
another 20, another 5, whatever.
Again, not saying it happens all the time.
I'm just saying there's a
but-
possibility of it, and I don't want that happening to me, so I don't put myself in that position.
Right. Yeah, I don't trust them either, for the most part, my friend. I don't.
I mean, it all boils down to people.
Yeah.
And I'm not, again, the two founding members of People Against People sitting at this table.
Mm-hmm.
We're not huge, compassionate folks.
Well, I'm compassionate.
Well, okay, well, we don't give
I'm
people
also
the benefit
very,
of the doubt.
very, very realistic.
Yeah, me too. But people will surprise you. Sometimes good, sometimes bad.
Yeah, they will too. It's no matter how many dumb things you see people do, you still find yourself being surprised by something. It's like it's bound to happen. Whatever the case may be.
This is true.
I mean, the internet's taught us that.
And having the internet and having the access to all these people we don't know throughout the world and seeing their daily lives.
It's awesome.
It's interesting as
Well,
fuck.
I don't want to say awesome. Sometimes it's awesome.
The idea of it is awesome that, like,
Right.
everyone's connected. The
The
world
access,
has shrunk
yes.
so much that, like, if you wanted to right now, you could find someone in, I don't know, fucking Bucharest and have a conversation with them.
Or like Norway.
Or Norway, anywhere.
Shout out to Norway.
Some dude on a crab fishing boat out in the fucking middle of nowhere. You're like, hey, bud, what's going on? And he's like, dude, catching crabs. You have access and the ability to do so much. But there was one story about a gentleman's life that I caught on the YouTube the other day.
Ah, the YouTube.
The YouTube.
Where would we be without you?
That lovely little pit of fucking time wasting. So I don't know if there's any sporting fans out there,
All right.
but a one Mr. Johnny Manziel,
Oh,
Johnny Football.
Shit.
Heisman Trophy winner. Then really couldn't, I don't want to say couldn't cut it in the NFL, but his lifestyle.
He definitely didn't cut it in Cleveland.
This is true. He moved up to the Canadian leagues.
Oh, is he playing in Canada?
He has been. He signed a 2-year contract with one of the teams, and that's part of the stipulation if you want to play in Canada. 2-year contract, right?
Okay.
Then after that 2-year contract, they'll renew or another team will come in. But if you break that contract, then you're out of the Canadian Football League.
Banned?
You're
Like disbarred from
uneligible to play.
Okay.
You lose your eligibility.
Something he's used to.
Yeah. So Mr. Manziel had a 2-year contract, played a year, and decided not to honor the second year. So he was effectively kicked off the team for breach of contract.
Good life choices, bro.
Well, this is where it gets interesting.
Oh, is there a reason?
Well, it's not it. Their preseason camp is coming up in a few months.
Okay.
For his would have been his second year.
Okay.
But he graciously stepped down. So it's not like he quit mid-season or anything like that.
All right.
But I posed this question to you before I go further.
Okay.
If you are him, right?
Okay.
Got kicked off the NFL team, had to go to Canada because it was the closest option, signed a 2-year contract. What happened his first year last year with that team?
Couldn't tell you.
Couldn't tell you. All right. So, what happened caused him to not want to play in Canada anymore. The announcement of 2 things. The Alliance Football League, which is going strong right now,
Okay.
and next year's XFL.
Oh, is he going to XFL?
The rumor is he's been courted
Vince McMahon?
to join a XFL team. The timing's right.
Mm-hmm.
And
They can make him a star.
he's still a popular name in
Right.
the sporting world.
He's still young enough, even for a quarterback. He's still
He has
very
the history
young.
of being that guy.
Right. Right. He's got the Ocho Cinco
Yeah, the vibe,
the character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The internet personality, the
Absolutely.
newsworthy buzz.
Right. XFL on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny Football. That makes sense.
It makes sense.
That's a good business move if he can pull it off. And
because
you
he'll
know.
get paid decently for.
Yeah, especially if he's one of the top bills.
And
You know.
right now, it's not like it's. If he would have did it to join the Alliance Football League, he would have did it at the end or halfway through the first season.
The Alliance, is that American football? Or is it?
Yeah, it's the because it was the Alliance and XFL announced that they're coming back, and then Alliance said, "Well, we're coming too." And Alliance came out earlier. They kind of pushed
okay.
it to get out
Okay.
ahead of XFL.
So they did what the XFL did the first time
Yes.
around. They rushed
Yes.
it. Okay.
But unlike the XFL the first time, they got a lot of NFL talent that is either hit the twilight of their career
or just didn't make.
or weren't first stringers.
maybe they were like practice squad guys and they.
Denard Robinson.
Oh, is he going to?
He's there. He
shit.
made one of the
In the Alliance?
in the Alliance. He
Okay.
made one of the team he plays for. I think he made the first touchdown for that team.
Oh, shit. Look at there.
But it's littered. Like there's names like I watch highlights on YouTube.
Yeah.
Because I'm at work when they do the actual games.
Right.
So when I watch the highlights and like they say names like, "Hey, he played for that team."
Yeah.
Hey, he was in the NFL. He
I
was in
know-
the NFL.
I know that guy.
Yeah, and then you say people like, "I remember him from the college."
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's like, okay, good for you, XFL. You actually put some worth into your players, some stock. They got some decent names for coaches in a lot of the teams. Some
Yeah.
are old and like they missed their glory years, but
Huh. I'll tell you, I'm excited about XFL. I'm gonna give it a chance.
I think it's going to have a better viewership than Alliance. It'll catch on quicker,
Yeah.
but it has to stay. I think Alliance has the potential to have the staying power as a second-tier pro team league.
Yeah. Kind of like a juniors almost, where they go there first.
Yeah.
Like you go from, if you don't play college, maybe you spend a year in the Alliance
Or if you don't get
League,
drafted, you go to Alliance, show
Yeah.
what you're, hey, we can do, and then the NFL will just cherry pick from there.
Well,
Or who knows? Maybe
yeah.
it'll start popping bigger than the NFL does.
do you think the NFL gets a Europe league?
They want to.
I know
They want to
they've been
expand.
pushing these damn games over there for.
It really, and the fans like it, but I think they like it because it's such an oddity to them. If it becomes more of a mainstay thing, it
Yeah.
can't compete with European football or soccer,
Well, I don't think it'll ever
Ever,
compete
no.
with it, but
But then why invest all that money? Because you're not going to get the return.
because they're doing what, one game every Sunday for like 6 weeks, right?
Oh, wow, it's up to that?
It's something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe 4 weeks.
4. Yeah, because I remember it started off as just 1 a year.
Right.
And then 2.
Right.
At a,
Right now they're doing 1 a year in Mexico City.
oh, really?
Well, they have. I think it
Okay.
got canceled this past year.
I don't think Mexico's the right area to try to go into right now.
No, it seems more baseball if it's going to be a sport,
Or soccer.
even soccer or
Yeah.
basketball. Yeah, those.
They're huge.
But in Europe, yeah, they're moving up.
Well,
They
that's
got
interesting.
more weeks in the year.
like I've never really looked into like the buzz of American football in other countries, but I know it's kind of not frowned upon, but it's a lesser tier sport in my eyes.
Right. It's not as worshipped
Yeah.
as it is here. That's for damn sure.
I have learned that cricket, along with soccer, is one of the biggest worldwide sports.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know much about cricket.
I don't either, but it looks interesting.
Yeah.
It's boring to watch, but it would be interesting to play.
It's where you got like the paddle and you hit the balls on the ground,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, okay. I would rather do curling.
Oh, fuck yeah. Any day of the week. I seen a funny little nugget on Reddit. They posted the picture of the last Winter Olympics, the United States team for curling, and it just looked like a group of guys that you would see in a bar. They were like,
we could do that.
yeah, and the caption was like, just looks like a group of dads got together one time. They're like, fuck it, we're Olympians.
Right. Somebody get a glove. Bring your broom.
Side note to that, I watched Cool Runnings last night. A fine John Candy film.
Cool Runnings. Been a minute for that one.
Feel the rhythm, feel the rhyme. Watch out, folks, it's bobsled time. Yeah, I was flipping through the channels it was on. I was like, huh, I'll give you a shot, Cool Runnings.
Yeah.
Can't really say no to a John Candy movie.
I got some time.
Yeah.
Since we're on movies, is there anything coming out, like new coming up there that you're getting excited about? Or
Shazam.
Shazam? Okay.
That doesn't look bad at all.
Who's in that?
I'd have to look up his name. He was in a TV show called Chuck, I remember. I loved the TV show Chuck.
Sounds familiar.
He was just an average guy, got kicked out of Stanford and was working at a Best Buy pretty much. And his dad turned out later on to be like this genius scientist who learned how to encode pictures.
Okay.
And if you had the right brain framing and you seen those pictures, you would pretty much download that information from it. So instead of reading a document, you would just look at a picture of a sunflower and be like, oh my God, there's a secret.
This was the show Chuck?
Yeah, it was
I
fucking
don't remember
amazing.
any of that. Never
Yeah.
mind. It did sound familiar.
It was a
but
weird
now
show, but it was pretty
Was that on
entertaining.
a Sci-Fi Channel or what?
No, it was like NBC or ABC. One
Oh.
of those.
Okay.
Anyway, Shazam. The whole thing about Shazam is it's a 15-year-old kid, 12-year-old, somewhere in that range, who is chosen by an elderly wizard to transfer his powers to. He's passing him the torch.
Okay.
And when he says the magic words, Shazam, which stands for Solomon, Hercules, Atlas, Zeus, I forget the other two, but they gain all their powers of the pantheon gods.
Okay.
He transforms into what used to be Captain Marvel way back in the day.
Ah, okay.
A couple lawsuits later. So DC had to change the name to Shazam instead of Captain Marvel. Because of multiple, there was a company called Wiz Comics
Okay.
that Captain Marvel, Shazam, was originated. DC sued him because they were outselling Superman. And in that time frame, in the 40s and 50s, Superman was like, think of Beatlemania times
Right.
20.
He was
He was it.
Right.
And then out of nowhere,
The
this
Elvis of the comic strip
exactly,
world.
yeah. Then this Captain Marvel comes along and is just beating the fuck out of Superman's numbers daily. So DC sues Wiz Comics for a 10-year long fucking thing. Slowly they get the rights to him.
Shelf him.
They get the character, but they don't get the name. It keeps going until I think 1991 was when DC finally won, hands down. Like by this time, Wiz Comics went out of business, but there's still legal stuff. Blah, blah,
Nobody
blah,
had
blah.
heard of Shazam for so long.
Well, and then around the 70s, Marvel's like, you know what? That character's name is Captain Marvel. We're Marvel Comics. We can't have DC have a character. So they create a character named Captain Marvel because within the goings-on of that lawsuit, the name and everything kind of goes out in the open.
Yeah, it just kind of slides
Because they have the
out.
name the rights to the character, but not the name and the title.
Right.
So Marvel sneaks in, goes up, we're taking Captain Marvel.
Right.
So DC finally wins, and they're like, fuck. We have to rename him. What do we name him? Like, well, he has to say Shazam to get his powers.
So they just name him Shazam. Huh?
Yeah. But it's a 12-year-old kid that says Shazam, gains all these powers, and now he looks like a 30-year-old fucking Superman. Can fight Superman like they're on par. Shazam has a slight edge because Superman has a weakness to magic.
Okay.
And Shazam is pretty much based off magic. So, but it's interesting because you're watching like a 12-year-old kid pretending to be an adult who has the abilities of like Superman.
Right.
That's like it. It's like, I'm going to do this today.
Yeah, it's like a superhero with an imagination.
Yeah.
You know.
Like even when he's on the Justice League and he's sitting at the table and like, what do you think, Shazam? And he's like, yeah, dude, sounds cool.
So he's like, you remember?
And nobody knows but Batman.
You remember
Batman figures it out.
Revenge of the Nerds, the original one? How they had,
Yep.
what was his name? The
Poindexter?
little,
Or no,
the
Poindexter
little
was,
short kid.
Mink-
It was,
no,
he
what's
was like
his name?
11 or 12.
Yes. Yes.
So he was like Shazam of the Revenge of the Nerds group.
Exactly.
What was their name? Delta.
Lambda.
That's it.
Amazing movie. But anyway, the comedy of just trying to see a kid
Mm-hmm.
deal with the powers and deal with pretending to be an adult with these powers in a universe of other superheroes.
That should be cool.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
and the
for
dude
sure.
who plays playing him is funny as shit. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. That was a long rant. to get to that point.
Yeah. You're talking to somebody who doesn't know anything about that world.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm not into superhero stuff, so
It'll be good.
I know Shazam as the app on your phone to listen
to music,
and it'll tell you who it is. That's how I know it.
But what's kind of cute about all of this is it comes out next month or at the end of this month, I think.
Okay.
But Marvel has a movie coming out at the same time. Do you know what that movie's called?
Well, Captain Marvel?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that's coming out new, right? Pretty soon?
Which is hilarious because the whole history of the lawsuit between Shazam, Captain Marvel, and Marvel's Captain Marvel. It's
Now
just
they're
like,
gonna drop at the same time.
like, round 5. It's like it continues. I don't know, in the nerd world, that's just a kind of nice little nod they're doing. Funny how it worked out.
Yeah, right? Oh, son of a bitch. Rest in peace, King Kong Bundy. Passed away.
Yeah.
Didn't see that one coming,
No, you don't.
but I haven't heard his name in fucking
years.
I think they said in the report 94
Was the last time he
he
wrestled.
came back for a little stint, but
Yeah.
that was it. Yeah.
Like I've seen interviews on YouTube with him, like at the conventions and
Yeah.
like during the upcoming WrestleMania. Like they usually have that week-long event where like a lot of the former stars will come and do signings.
Oh,
and it's like
yeah.
a big
Red carpet.
yeah, it's a whole
The
event.
gala.
Yeah. And this one YouTuber had like a 2-hour conversation with him. It was just like, "Hey, tell me about your time. Like, what was it like wrestling Hulk Hogan?" And he'd be like, "Oh, Terry, yeah, blah blah." And you get to see the different aspect of instead of just I'm King Kong Bundy and I fought fucking Andre the Giant all the time because I was a big dude.
It was what, WrestleMania 2, I think.
Yep, WrestleMania 2.
Hogan and Bundy.
It's a weird thing looking back at a lot of the wrestlers that we grew up with and what wrestling was then, which was upsetting a lot of the old timers.
Saturday morning wrestling.
Oh,
And then Saturday night
night
wrestling.
wrestling.
And then you had your pay-per-view once a month.
yeah. Well, not even then. It wasn't once a month.
No.
But then it was like every 3 months you had like either Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, or WrestleMania. It was like the big 3.
Then Survivor
For
Series.
I love Survivor Series. I thought that was the coolest one of them all. I'll always love the Royal Rumble, but Survivor Series was always cool because you had the teams and it was the whole fucking like tournament style. It's fucking badass.
Folks, that right there is the smoothest transition into our brackets that you've ever heard.
You're welcome.
Round 2 of our bracket goes live with the release of episode 74,
This is
which
true.
will be
Shortly.
very, very soon. Listening to
As
this
you're
show.
listening to this,
Right. Pay attention.
As
it's
it came
coming
out.
quick.
it's coming at your face real quick.
Maybe 2 days, I think it is, the way we got it planned out. So
True.
when you see the release of 74, you get into round 2 of
Round 2
our
of our
brackets.
brackets.
We could speculate who's going to be there, but
Who's gonna
I'd
win the
rather-
matches.
I'd rather save it.
Yeah.
I want to be surprised.
Please check.
I place my votes.
Oh. And already, my bracket is shot.
Oh, yeah. Gone.
My champion has lost in the first round.
It's good for me. It means my champion's still in.
This is true. But for all you folks, please go on either Twitter or Facebook and cast your votes. Share it. Get more people on this because we want to know who the greatest wrestler was out of the 16 provided by us.
As we rapidly approach WrestleMania.
Right around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Was it 35?
Sounds about right.
I know it's in the 30s, which is weird to me because I remember like when it was a single digits.
Yeah.
And it makes me feel old, much like a lot of shit.
Well, embrace it.
Yeah, you can't really ignore it.
Not yet. Modern science and technology will reverse it if we're here long enough to see that, but maybe they'll 3D print you a new youth.
Oh, man. That would be weird.
Well, what do you say we wrap a bow on 73?
I think we took it as far as we could.
I know.
Took it to the limit.
This is the calm before the storm, folks. As long as you're listening to this and you've made it this far,
Following along with
74 is going to be probably as big as we could get.
It's our biggest show so far, to date.
Yeah, it's going to be
By
exciting.
a lot, I think.
Pretty fired up about it. So hopefully here in a couple of days, 74 will drop and you'll
get why we've been hyping it up. And,
right.
And why all the...
Secretly
without
hyping it
trying
up.
to put too much in
I don't want to jinx anything
at all.
by
No.
saying any names.
No. I mean, but it is the reason why we're rapid firing all these at you right now. But I think this is a big step for the Corner House Chronicles. We'll see where that takes us.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. It's going to be fucking interesting.
It's going to be a
that's for sure.
Joyful night. It's going to be crazy.
Probably a little chaos, and we're going to embrace it.
Oh, we have to.
Rolling on all the wheels until one of them breaks while Aaron's sleeping, and then he yells about it. Big shout-outs and thank you to Big Lake Brewing for your Michigan Amber Ale. Delightful. I enjoyed it. I wish they came in more than 4-packs because my 2 went quick.
It did very quick.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I cannot not see Grandpa in that boat now.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It just fits, But for all the listeners, we want to say thank you very much. Again, looking forward to 74. Looking forward to crowning our best wrestler in our bracket. So stay tuned for all that goodness.
We appreciate your participation.
Yes.
Both in listening and our brackets.
One show closer to 100. I'm counting it down. I'm excited about 100. I don't know why.
26 to go. It's
I don't know
weird,
why.
isn't it?
We got to do something big.
I agree.
We got plans from now until 100, but we got to hit it hard with 100, whatever it is. I'm thinking we rent a hall and we throw a party. We do a show right in the middle of it.
Doing it big.
Right in the fucking middle of it. Let everybody be a part. Like the block party on
Much like-
steroids. Like the Barry Bonds treatment.
I would have said Mark McGuire.
Or Johnny Bones Jones.
Sammy Sosa. The list goes on.
Right. You're with us. All right, until next time, we'll catch y'all on the flip side.